The next item is concealed carry signs. You have a staff committee preparation report before you. If we have a moment of, we have a moment here, I'd like to read the summary here for the folks at home and for the council members, as long as they're reading it. The summary and background information reads as follows on this preparation report. On November 14, 2011, a memo was given to all full-time and permanent part-time city employees regarding their opinion of the idea of concealed carry signs, and there is a copy enclosed of that letter in your information council committee members. As of December 5th, 2011, 25 employees are in favor and 13 are against putting up the signs on all city buildings. The report also includes that Mr. Bilecki, is that correct? Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor Roosh says that he is not in favor of the signs except when court is in session, but would go along with the majority of the city employees' wants. Current city policy prohibits all city employees except police officers from carrying weapons, concealed or open, in any city building or vehicle.
And Mr. Chairman, just to follow up on it, perfect timing. Everybody received this municipality magazine and read it Sunday night, and one of the questions that a lot of people had was, if you put the signs up and you don't enforce it, is the city liable? Well, the league indicates no. The law does not require municipalities that prohibit weapons or firearms in municipal buildings to screen. And they also go on that this is a discretionary in nature, and we have immunity granted by the state of Wisconsin under section 893.80. So there's been a lot of, and our chief police was correct, I think 2 months ago at a staff meeting, he indicated that he had attended some seminars and said that there is no liability on city parts. So if you put the signs up and you don't put them up, the city is not liable for any occurrences. But I thought to be fair to all of our employees, give them a chance. The majority, in this case, are in favor of putting the signs up.
You said we are not liable if we do or if we don't.
Either way, we're
Either
not.
way.
We're not.
But if somebody did have a concealed carry and the sign is up, they're in effect doing what?
What we're doing is telling them that if they have a concealed weapon, they cannot bring that into the city building. That
Would there be a fine imposed upon them?
Well, if you see it, we'd probably have to do an ordinance in order to get us a fine. Right now, we wouldn't have any way of fining them if they did ignore the sign. I believe we'll have to ask the attorney tomorrow night, but my opinion would be if the council tomorrow night voted to put the signs up, then we'd have to have the city attorney draw up an ordinance to indicate what the fine would be for violating.
But if we go beyond the fine, though, I mean, if there was a sign put up that said we were not allowing weapons in this building, and somebody forgot that they had their concealed carry on it, or they came into the lobby to pay their bill and forgot to leave it locked up, would not the police department need to be called for an armed person in a location that does not allow for armed?
I would assume if it was somebody that forgot, they would be asked to go and secure it in their vehicle and then come back.
that's if they're asked. I mean, you know, we don't know, we're not trained to approach a person,
No.
we don't know their intent or what they're doing.
And
If we
was-
did not have the signage up there, there would be no reason for that conflict to take place in the first place.
I guess if we seen it, it wouldn't be concealed, but
No.
it would be open, so.
But it also forces the person who believes strongly in their constitutional right to then consider whether they're gonna violate local ordinance or not. I mean, I'm not trying to make it into a conflicting issue, but I could see where these things could happen. These are, you know, I'm not saying that, you know, one way or the other, but I'm saying it could become an issue of conflict for some people. Maybe for most people, probably not. Most people will probably go along with it. But what if you forget again, you know, and then somebody notices it? That's where it could become a questionary issue. And honestly, the people that are getting concealed carries are law-abiding citizens who've already had screenings and background checks and been approved for the ability to carry a concealed weapon. So, I mean, and their law says, I think it's state law says you can't have it when court is in session. So, I mean, putting a sign up there is just reminding them what the state law currently is, but state law allows for concealed carry. So, I mean, I understand how employees could feel one way and the majority of them would feel that way, but it's also a matter of, it's law. Law is you can have concealed carry. And beyond that is you could put the sign for your one building, but you can't have a sign that you carry around you when you're in public. You're always going to deal with people that are concealed carrying nowadays because that's the law. So, I mean, I guess, it's something that we're going to have to get used to. And to say that one building's invisible fence is going to stop a person from carrying with intent to commit harm is ridiculous. At least if you had concealed carry, those that are working with you that have a weapon on them would be able to defend you when somebody is coming in with intent to commit harm to you or others on a bill or whatever the case may be. That is the whole purpose of having concealed carriers, for defense. And how do you defend yourself if you don't have, if you don't have a weapon or somebody around you who does have one? Then you're left with a situation of responding, having the police respond, and in that situation, it's a reactionary response to something that's happened, and there is a time delay. Obviously the police department's right over there, but there's a time delay for them to get here versus if somebody is here is carrying a weapon and defending themselves. But if you put up a sign that just says that only those who are going to violate will have that weapon, and only those that are going to be violating are going to be those with intent to harm.
all valid things. And matter of fact, as things are right now, we don't have a sign, but we do have a ordinance or a personnel manual that indicates that no city employees are allowed to carry or have weapons in any city vehicles or any city buildings outside of our law enforcement officers. So right now, whether without a sign, if somebody walked in my office tomorrow, I can't bring a weapon to the city hall. It's against personnel policies, so.
Maybe we should review that personnel policy in light of the concealed carry.
Then I gotta get me a Clint Eastwood to
Yeah.
hide right on the desk. but-
Are there any other members with commentary on the topic? My understanding is that if we wish to move forward with this, we would make a motion and this evening to authorize the city attorney to draw up the policy, the details for the signs, and the details for the related penalties. So if there were a motion, that would be what a motion would center around, authorizing the city attorney to draw up the policy, draw up the details for the signs and the related penalties.
The related penalties are already done. It falls within the confines of the trespassing legislation.
Okay, very well. So the penalties are already visible in the trespassing legislation.
I just heard one side of the issue now. Very good commentary. I'd like to hear, since there seems to be a lot of people that want to put these signs up, I'd like to hear the other side of the commentary.
I believe there was also some concern about with our court facilities being separated into two two zones on this upper floor.
From court in session.
Yeah, they can't, when court is in session anyway.
In the entire building?
Well,
Or
the
in
court
the
is in
areas?
this room, but I take the money for the court
Okay,
fines
so there's a court
downstairs.
activity happening downstairs?
Right,
Okay.
and that's on Wednesday afternoons.
And
And
pre-
her office is down there, and that's where Penny is.
And so pretrial is about 50 or 60
Right.
feet away. So there's a hallway area there to deal with. That would be a non-court in session area. And then on the ends of that, there would be court in session. Okay? So that would be creating zones within a building of where current law stands.
So either way, you're gonna put a sign up, courts in session, no weapons, courts in session, or just put a sign up there and just say no weapons allowed in building.
Well, I would think when court's in session, that would be restricted to the second floor only.
No, because she just said on the first floor, treasurer is part of the court,
Yeah.
getting the fines.
And making restitution.
Okay, but is it just when the hour and a half when they're in session, or is it, because I take court fine money every single day of the week, you know, and Janice is in her office every day doing court work, so what is the definition of that?
I would make one guess that it's just when court's in session, but I think I'm not legal. That's something I think we have to ask our attorney, city attorney.
Well, I think, you know, again, I'm not legal either, but when court's in session, there's a reason why they would have that be restricted, because when you are in court, you're dealing with the enactment of laws taking place. So that's when people become highly emotional and disturbed from when they receive judgments, you know, for or against them. I mean, that makes sense. But I don't know where the origination of that law came from. I don't know the original intent of it. And I think that would have to be researched by our attorney, the original intent, the full scope of it, and if it's limited to just the doors with the judge and everybody that's in session.
So there's the issue before us about the signs and whether we would wish to or not make a motion to authorize the attorney to draw up a policy, signs and such, or to direct them through a motion to do something else. To prepare an informational session or...
And the other thing too is related to, again, with this topic, I'm sorry I keep jumping in, I should, but these thoughts occurred to me. This city hall, like the state capitol, is owned by the taxpayers. This isn't our house, it's the taxpayers' house, so to speak. So every person that's a citizen of the city pays for a part of this building. So perhaps, maybe this is an issue that needs to be voted on by the whole city.